Hello, everybody, and welcome to Luxevo Vacations Radio. I'm your host, Burt Kramer. It was the late 90s, early 2000s, and selling things on the internet was the newest craze. From dental plans to nutritional products and eventually travel, one man was there to go through it all.
Luxevo Vacations Radio.
So I know that intro was a little vague. Today we're going back in time, right? I'm joined again with Burt Kramer, and we're talking about how he got into the travel industry. But in order to get to that point, we have to go back even further. Back to your first encounter, right? With online marketing and sales funnels. Maybe even further. I don't know. I was a little kid. So, you want to jump in on this?
Well, thanks, Dustin. It's good to be here again, and it sounds like we're going to take a little stroll down memory lane today.
We're going to go down memory lane. We're going to take our top hat and cane and just down memory lane. Yeah, I mean, as, people around here, the office, know your story. Well, for the most part. But I think that we take a break from giving out tips and tricks and hacks on the travel industry, and we find out how you got into the travel industry. So I'll just ask my canned question that I have written down so that we stay on track. And that is, so to take us all the way back to how you got into the travel industry, what was the last job you had before working for yourself? The last time you had a boss, B-O-S-S.
Wow, so...
And, give us years and dates. We want to try and draw out a timeline here.
Yeah. I'm thinking it was, late 1996. So, 23 coming up on 24 years ago, I was working as an accounting associate with Georgia Pacific. And as a side note, when I was in college, I remember we had a career day and Georgia Pacific was there. And I thought to myself, way back into college, I said, wouldn't it be awesome if someday I could be working for this, Fortune 100 company? That was kind of like my goal. And it was another 15 years later. And here I was working for Georgia Pacific, in my dream job. That was literally, I think 1.5 miles away from my home. Most days I rode my bike to work.
But, okay, now see, again, this is where I'm going to jump in and try and keep you on track, but not get you off track. Being a little child, I vaguely remember stuff. It's more like in dream state remembery. But I know there was a time that we were living with Grandma and you were up.
Yeah, this was after that.
This was after that? Okay.
Yeah.
So you say it was a mile away, or how far did you say it was?
We were on Brookdale Avenue in Parma.
So in Parma?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I got this job through an acquaintance at church. And, this was my dream. And, I was there for, probably less than 4, 5, 6 months. And I realized that I hated it. I mean, I was chained to my desk. I was told when to come in, when to go home. And I think first of all, around that time I was getting ready to quit. I had been invited to one of these hotel seminars where somebody was selling, a business opportunity to basically design, websites for, businesses. And back then, very, very, very few people had a website. So, I thought this would be a huge opportunity. And so anyways, I'd come into work one day and, my boss said, hey, we noticed you've got a little bit of time on your hands. And I had a lot of time on my hands. So they said, we want you to go ahead and, answer the phone calls when the switchboard operator was, away at lunch. And I'm like, you know what? We're done here, and walked into my boss's office and put in my notice, and quit. I quit the salary, benefits, all that kind of stuff. Quit that job.
So was this your typical office, cubicles, water cooler?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is
dress code.
1996 corporate environment. Yeah, definitely had my cubicle that was probably constructed in the 1950s and had a fresh coat of paint on it. So. Yeah, I really didn't think too long about that. I remember going home and telling Patricia, hey, listen, I just want you to know I'm quitting my dream job so that I can, build websites for small companies.
Before jumping into my next question, do you mind telling us what, I know it's 96, but do you mind telling us what the salary was at a place like that?
Oh, it wasn't much, maybe $24,000 a year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What was do you remember the title that you had?
I'm pretty sure it was like an accounting associate.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so you say...
Well, and that was part of the problem.
Yeah.
I mean, is that, because it was corporate America, for somebody in that position, that was my salary cap. So if I wanted more money, I had to just hang around and get my 2 and 3% raise, each year, or I had to apply within the company, which meant a possible transfer. And like I said, I mean, at that time, we weren't making a lot of money. We had 3 small kids at home, and it was only 1.5 miles from where we lived. So, the prospect of moving to, Georgia, where they were headquartered, was just out of the question. So, for us to make more money, I had to make the move away from corporate America. And I thought that, developing websites was a place to do it.
Yeah. And look at us now. So then, whether you have a family or you're single or you've got the little kids, what would you say is the scariest thing about firing your boss and working for yourself?
Well, it's got to be where's my income going to come from? But honestly, I don't think a lot of people give that as much thought when they make that decision to break away. I just think that it's like a momentary lapse in judgment that people, they walk away without really, seriously thinking, where's my next paycheck going to come from? Now, you got some wild idea of where it's going to come from, but I don't really think that it's really top of mind when people, finally get to the point where they're making that decision to make the jump.
And it sounds like you had in mind where your next paycheck was coming from, or something to that tune. You mean you said that you were going to build websites?
Yeah.
So let's move along that timeline
so,
now. So you went to a seminar. You
went to the seminar.
Websites.
I learned how to basically sell this, and sure enough, I think my first 30 days, I had got a client, and I think they had agreed to pay me $1,000 for the work that we did, and then picked up another client, maybe another $1,000 or so, and so one of the things that I started to learn really quickly into this thing was that the people that I was building websites for had tremendous potential because the internet was so new at that point, or at least, monetizing, the internet was new at that point in time. So what I decided to do was put up a website selling nutritional products. So we hooked up with a company and we put a website together. And again, because of the newness of the internet, I mean, like right away we shot to the top of the search engines. I don't even remember what search engine it was back then.
Dogpile.
It could have been
Yahoo.
Right. So it actually happened pretty quickly. We started to make some decent money in a really short period of time. So. But we tried a number of different things. I mean, we did nutritional products. We did some dental plans. We actually sold a line of home theater speakers back then to compete with Bose. And again, did that. And then a few years went on, and what happened was one of those companies that we were working with, that we were doing really well with, made some bad decisions themselves. And we lost a big chunk of our income. So, I immediately went into this, all right, let's find a way to replace this, this chunk of our income. And, I can remember like it was yesterday. I think Patricia was in the kitchen. Again, I'm working from the dining room.
Right.
She was in the kitchen making dinner, and I was just doing some surfing type of research. And I remember it was I think it was a text ad on CNN.com. And it had something to do with, becoming a travel agent and getting a travel agent identification card. And, I clicked on the link and I requested some information. Somebody actually got back to me on the phone. I think it was really quick. It might have even been, that that evening, and or the next evening. But regardless, they made me an offer, and I said, yeah, I want to do this. And part of the draw for me was that Patricia and I, we already loved traveling, and we'd been doing a little bit of traveling. We wanted to figure out how we could do more traveling, and so the prospects of being a travel agent really piqued my interest. So this particular company had a program where I could refer other people to the company. It's just a referral program. It wasn't any type of network marketing, MLM, or anything like that. Just a referral program, but they would pay me like a really nice commission. And, what I decided to do was, sure, I want to sell some travel, but I saw that there was a huge need out there for someone to actually recruit these travel agents. The company was doing it kind of passively, but I said, I know how to do this, and immediately put together a hokey website, again, designed it all myself. And sure enough, I started to refer travel agents to this particular company, and within a short while, like 4 months, I was featured on the cover of their company's newsletter as one of their top recruiters. And I'm like, again, 4 or 5 months into this thing, and it seemed like every month we were being recognized for recruiting a large number of agents. And we did that, gosh, that was from 2002 probably all the way up until the end of 2005 when we had a little bit of a falling out.
Right. So because I know you're on a roll now, to keep the audience to draw a picture in their head, we just went from 96 in Parma. Now have we moved to suburbia with everyone having the same chemically groomed lawns and
right, so that was 96. So 2002 was when we lost the and again, so that was right after 9/11. But that's when we lost one of the companies that we were working with. Had to replace the income. Found this other company. So it was around 2002 that and we got into the actual travel business. Back it up just a little bit.
Okay.
Between 96 and 2002, we did get into a travel network marketing company around 1999. We did that for about 6 months and I wasn't really comfortable with that. So we got out. Coincidentally, it wasn't long after that company went out of business. So it was a good thing that, we got in, we got out, and then in 2002, we kind of got back in.
Because of the CNN ad.
Yeah, because of the CNN ad. So, 2002, 2005, I was recruiting travel agents, selling travel. And then, again, end of 2005, beginning of 2006, we had a falling out. And I wasn't going to work with this company anymore. And had to real quickly come up with a plan B. So, I said, I've been recruiting all these travel agents and then basically giving them to this other company. How about I continue to recruit them, but I'll keep them as my travel agents? So it was early 2006 that I, set up another company and started recruiting these travel agents. And I think our first full month in business was like March of 2006. We recruited about 30, 35 or so agents. And I did that for the next basically 10 years. So I grew that company from 2006 to 2016, got it up to about 4,000 travel agents, about $150 million a year in travel sales. And, by then I had already bought a second home in Florida, moved to Florida, decided I want to be here. So the company was in Ohio, I was in Florida, and decided at that time that I would go ahead and sell that company.
Right, and we just jumped big time. I'm going to bring you back.
Okay.
Because I have some questions.
Sure.
Not just from me, but from Lane here in the office. I asked him if he would like to know something. So, first question, I guess we'll just let it come from Lane. I wrote it down, of course. He wants to know how long, I'm sure him and everyone else, how long were you working out of your dining rooms before you got your first office? And then to piggyback on that, how long were you working like travel businesses out of your dining room?
Right. So again, I worked out of early on back in the Brookdale house. I had converted actually one of our spare bedrooms into my office, and it was I actually had a bed in there for a period of time.
Yeah, you did.
And in this blue carpeting and a desk and filing cabinets and all the stuff that makes it look like an office. So that was again 96, and I think it was about a year there. We moved to another house, had my office at that house, and we had an office there for about again, from 96 until we actually moved into an office in 2007, 11 years working from our home.
Yeah.
Wow.
But not all 11 years was like recruiting the agents
No,
and
no,
travel.
no. We did some other stuff during
Right,
that
because
time.
you said 2000
Nutritionals and
to
yeah.
one. Right, okay. Okay, well then let's jump to my question, which is, you said that for the last 10 years or whatnot, you were growing the other company.
Right.
So unfortunately, in between that time, we all suffered from this 2008 economic whatever. I don't know it so much because it didn't really affect me, I don't think, maybe in gas money. But what was that like, being a business owner in 2008? And, what was the travel industry doing in 2008? People up and stopped traveling? They just put planes in hangars? And
No.
what was going on?
That's what happened in 2001, 2002. So, I mean, that was, and again, we hadn't really got into the travel business back in 2001, 2002. So, yeah, sure. I remember, 2007, 2008, during the economic, downturn then. And here's the thing. We were selling a business opportunity for people to be able to earn additional income or to have a second career or to have another career. So when people lost their jobs because of downsizing and just, those kind of things, we actually did really well. We added a lot of agents in 2007, 2008. Now, again, the consumers weren't traveling as much, but that turned around pretty quickly. By 2009, things seemed to turn around, and then it was just just skyrocketed our growth after that.
So you were doing something similar with the other company and to what we're doing now.
Yes. Yeah. So how did we get here?
How did we get here?
2016, we decided to to sell that other company, and by now we're living here in Florida, and we made a decision, I think, to just take it easy. I mean, we'd been working our tails off for the last 15, 16 years. 10 of which, again, with that company. And really, we just wanted to take some time. I mean, we live a mile from the beach, so we wanted to go to the beach and just kind of chill. And, we did that for about 6 months and then thought, hey, we're too young to retire. So, what do we want to do with this next chapter in our life? And, it was, we didn't put a whole lot of thought into it. It's, we want to get back into travel, and we want to, do what we were doing before with a new company, Luxevo Vacations, but we wanted to do things a little bit different. So again, it was right in 2016, we formed Luxevo Vacation. Took about a year or so to put our infrastructure together, and then really started to, to build the business, continue to sell travel again. And then slowly we began to start to recruit travel agents.
So yes, we're young. We're young. We can't hide that. But do you think, now I have my opinion on this, but do you think that being young and being, having the experience that we have, is that should people be deterred to joining us because we're young? Or do you get people who are like, well, you've only been around since 2016. Like, what's that all about? Or,
yeah.
I mean, is it that big of a deal? I think that personally, it's like, yeah, we've been around for, 3 years, started recruiting a year ago,
2 years
less
ago,
than,
yeah.
No, not really. We started really hammering the recruiting in December of 2018. So I think for that rapid of growth and being able to handle it on a smaller staff, that's more of a plus than.
Well, the date of formation of the company may be 3+ years ago. Our management team, has got, I don't know the exact number of combined years of experience in doing this, but I mean, our senior managers have been doing this for a long time. So, one of the things we were able to bring over was all of that experience, all of the, the technology that we had used. So we did have a huge jumpstart from where we were in 2005, basically starting from scratch.
Right, and you got to bring me, who I've been in the industry, even with the last company, since 2007, 8.
Yeah.
Took a little break to hang out in California for a little bit, but found out people there kind of suck and moved back here. And so I've been in the industry for that long. You've got the older brother who's been in it. And we actually got to have Tanya, who also has been in it. So, yeah,
Yep.
I think it's
And then your mom, Patricia.
right.
So,
right.
I mean,
Right.
she was vital. I think she actually was working a job back in 2006, 2007. She worked for
Yeah, we
BJ's
left
Wholesale.
that.
Yeah,
That's right. We left that out.
I convinced her begrudgingly to quit her job. She loved that job, and she came over to our previous company, and she held a position there of commissions manager. Ran a team of about 3 or 4 people, paying commissions to the agents. So again, I've got all of that experience. So yeah, so while again, 3+ years that Luxevo Vacations has been around, but our management team has been around for, I think if you add up all the hours, it's probably close to 50 years of combined experience in the travel industry.
Yeah. You've thought about it, you've done your research, and you signed up with Luxevo Vacations. The next step for you is to get yourself some branded swag. With Luxevo Vacations' online apparel store, you will find catchy branded t-shirts, hoodies, stickers, hats, trade show materials, yoga pants, cell phone cases, and so much more. Visit lxvnapparel.com and make sure to use promo code LVR podcast to get an additional 10% off of your order. That's lxvnapparel.com. Promo code LVR podcast. Okay, so what makes Luxevo different? We've gone from the 90s all the way now to we'll soon be in the roaring 20s again. What makes us different than the previous company and these other companies you worked for? They went under, I guess.
Well, I think that one of the things we learned from 10 years with our previous company doing this is that while people they get into travel for a lot of different reasons. I think one of the keys is that they love the idea of travel. So number one, to get into this, you got to love travel. And number two, you really got to love working with people. So if you're not a people person and you don't love travel, you should not do this business. But if you got those two things going on where you like people, you like helping people, like helping them plan their vacations, you like the whole idea of travel, then, this could be a really perfect fit. But with our previous company, every one of our travel agents had to go out and they had to come up with a business name and a logo and marketing and catchphrases and, all those kind of things. And some of them, a small number of them, they did it right, all right? But that was the exception, it wasn't the rule. And most people, they really failed at, naming their business and creating marketing. So, that was, I felt, one of our strong points. I mean, you as our creative director, I mean, that. So we wanted all of our agents that we'd be recruiting with Luxevo Vacations to be Luxevo Vacations travel specialists. So that was, number one. And then we would provide all of the marketing, for them, or at least all the marketing assets. So it's it's all the branding, the logos, the social media posts, the pictures, the videos, the blog posts. I mean, we would provide all that so the people don't have to go out and either try to create it themselves, hire it to have it done, steal it, which we've seen agents steal people's photos and images. And so, that was, the second thing. And the other thing is that, we always preach that people should have a specialty or a niche. Right?
Absolutely.
So the number one path to failure in this business as a new travel agent really is trying to be everything to everybody. So we recommend that as soon as they can, they specialize. Well, we took that advice as a company. So our specialty is sun and sand vacations, all-inclusive vacations to Mexico and the Caribbean, East Coast Mexico, West Coast Mexico, all the islands, Jamaica, the Dominican Republic. I mean, that's our specialty. All right, that's our sweet spot. That's where we really we know a lot about that market. But that doesn't mean that our agents can't sell everything else. I mean, we've got agents selling Disney and Alaska and Europe and Hawaii, and everything in between, Vegas and Orlando. So they can do everything. And so again, our specialty is, that all-inclusive vacation package, couples, families, honeymooners. But the agents, they're able to do everything. So I think those would be the three things that really set us apart.
Well, and I think our specialty also is knowing how to groom an agent, train an agent, and get them on the ground running faster than a lot of the competition hosts.
Yeah.
I mean, you said it. You have to come up with your own. I mean, the first month or so could be just coming up with a name, slogan, logo. I mean, even if you're working with Fiverr for your logo, which is not $5. We did the Luxevo Vacations logo for $5 and it was terrible. I mean, even if you're doing that, it's still, you're looking at a month or more before like even getting going.
Yeah.
So,
well, again, 10 years working with literally thousands and thousands of agents, we brought over with us a tremendous amount of experience on what exactly agents needed to be successful. You know, what things that they needed to do right away, what things they needed to avoid, and, how to deliver that training to them. And we've got, agents all over the United States now with Luxevo Vacations. So we had to have a training system that enabled us to reach people in Portland, Oregon, or Portland, Maine. I think there's a Portland, Maine.
I think so.
And everywhere in between. So, those are I think our strong points. We're used to working with new people to the industry. So we don't expect someone that joins Luxevo Vacation comes with years of experience as a travel agent and education. We're totally comfortable working with people that are brand new to this.
right. I mean, just from my opinion and what I've seen on fam trips and meetups and things like that, if we're going after an agent who's already been in it forever and they've got their silly name with their silly million-colored logo, they just have such an attachment to it that it's hard for them to retrain their brain to see value in becoming a Luxevo Vacations travel.
Yeah, and I mean, so many agents spend so much time trying to come up with unique marketing, and it's time that they need to be and could be spending, working with their clients. So we feel that by providing all of that, we're freeing our agents up, our travel specialists up, so they can focus on what they do best, which is working with their clients.
Yeah, and if you just have an itch to design your own logo and business cards and postcards and websites and stuff, maybe you don't need to be an agent with us. Maybe you need to fill out an application and come,
Exactly.
join the team.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
okay. Well, that about does it for the episode. Remember to subscribe to Luxevo Vacations Radio wherever you listen to your podcasts. If you've ever considered becoming a travel agent, visit luxevovacations.com/join for more info and to sign up. Also, if you're listening to this on Anchor, you can leave us a voice message saying how much you enjoyed the podcast, or feel free to ask us questions. Signing up for Anchor is free, and they're the company that we use to host and distribute this podcast. So remember to tune in next week for a brand new episode. And thanks again for listening. Thanks again, Burt, for being here with us. We'll see you later.